Hey everyone, and welcome to the Millennial Revolt, an independent political talk show that seeks to bring a different narrative than the stale one we have going on right now in the mainstream media. So today we're going to be talking about the Podesta emails, and a lot has been happening. Wikileaks has been releasing a steady flow of these emails from Friday all the way till today, and they're going to keep releasing them until the election. So there is a lot to get into, and I'm going to show you guys some of the most controversial ones that I found, and I am still looking through them, so I'm going to be releasing more videos on this soon, but let's just get right into it. So there was one particular email that drew my attention. It was an email sent to Tulsi Gabbard, and it was from Darnell Strom. Now, Tulsi Gabbard endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. Now, basically, to sum up what the email says, it said that they were extremely disappointed that she endorsed Bernie Sanders and she resigned from the DNC so that she could do so. They were saying that they had dinner a couple of years ago and they were impressed with Tulsi Gabbard, her intellect, her passion, and her commitment to getting things done on behalf of the American people. So you know that Tulsi Gabbard actually cares about what she's doing. She cares about the people she represents and she wants to help people. That's basically why she is representative. So they were saying, how can you support a man who's been in office for nearly 40 years but has very few accomplishments? And it said it doesn't fall in line with what we previously thought of you. Now, here's where the email gets crazy, because it says Hillary Clinton will be our party's nominee. So this is when the primaries were still going. So they're basically telling Tulsi Gabbard that Hillary Clinton will be our nominee either way. And it doesn't matter that he has all these supporters. It doesn't matter that he's still campaigning. She's going to be the nominee either way. And you need to get in line with the rest of the Democrats. So it says, you standing on ceremony to support the sinking Bernie Sanders ship is disrespectful to Hillary Clinton. Well, we live in a constitutional republic. We have something called a democracy where we are allowed to choose whoever we want to support and choose whoever we want to vote for. We are not assigned or we have to vote for someone. This isn't a dictatorship. It's the craziest thing what's going on behind the scenes at the Democratic National Convention, what these people are doing. The email goes on to say, a woman who has spent the vast majority of her life in the public service and working on behalf of women, families, and the undeserved. It says, you have called both myself and Michael Keeves before about helping your campaign raise money. We no longer trust your judgment, so we will not be helping you raise money for your campaign. From Daryl Storm and Michael Keeves. Now, that's extremely disgusting that they will try to stop helping Tulsi Gabbard raise money because she decided to basically jump off reservation and say, look, this is Bernie Sanders' person who I support. His views line up with mine, and I'm going to endorse him. So that was just one of the emails which I thought was just extremely disgusting, and it just shows how the Democratic Party is completely corrupt. Well, there was another email about DOMA. Now, if you don't know what DOMA is, DOMA was the Defense of Marriage Act. It was a bill passed under Bill Clinton, and it was both supported by them. Now, Hillary Clinton has evolved on the issue of gay marriage. But there was a particular article that was going to be written by the Huffington Post, as well as she had an interview on the Rachel Maddow show, which is on MSNBC, and Hillary Clinton obviously was not faring well. So I'm just going to read you guys a little bit of excerpts from this email. It says, everyone I talked to today was in a pretty whipped up state. Based on who reached out to me and what I've seen people express online, the energy is not relegated to just the rabble-rouser crowd. There is, in my opinion, deep discontent out there stemming from what she said on Friday. He says, I recognize I might be in a small minority, but my opinion continues to be that we are better served by addressing this. Now, Hillary Clinton has evolved on the issue of LGBT rights. Many people have said that it has because the Democratic Party has basically gone the way of supporting LGBT rights, so she's seen where her base was and basically flipped. Now, there was another excerpt that says, I agree with not issuing a statement. It doesn't help us. In terms of the Huffington Post, how strongly do we feel we need to be in the story? Are we under strong pressure to walk back? And then another excerpt goes, but I would just say we should use it as the vehicle for giving a statement that reads as a walkback. Even as HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, will never approve a true walkback, which means she doesn't want to walk back any of her statements. She means what she says what she means. And then we circulate the story to our LGBT friends so they see that both they humbled us with a bad story and we highlight our statement giving a win-win walk back and we move on. So basically she doesn't support LGBT rights personally. She doesn't really support it. Another statement goes, I missed the beginning of the conference call this afternoon on this, but I had assumed we were preparing an HRC statement, less for Huffington Post and more because politically thought was needed to quell the LGBT backlash. So basically she was getting a backlash from the community, and knowing that you need these people to come out to vote for you, they're trying to basically calm this down, because she also had an interview on Rachel Maddow where she made some questionable statements that is apparently ensuing backlash, which is stated in this email. Now, it goes on to say in the email, which I thought was one of the most telling parts, is I'm not saying double down or even say it again. I'm just saying that she's not going to want to say she was wrong about that, which means she doesn't want to say, Hillary Clinton, that she was wrong about supporting DOMA, given she and her husband, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, believe it and have repeated it many times. Better to reiterate evolution, opposition to DOMA when court considered it an forward-looking stance. So basically, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton believes in the Defense of Marriage Act. They believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. Now, I don't have a problem with her believing that. You can believe whatever you want to. My problem is you are using LGBT rights to get votes. If you don't believe that gay people should have the right to marry, don't believe it, but don't try to co-opt the movement and try to use their issues to pander to them to get votes. To me, that's just one of the lowest things you could possibly do, and that just makes me even more sometimes just very upset with Hillary Clinton policy-wise, because everything just seems so calculated with her. You know, I would respect you more if you meant what you said what you mean, and you meant what you said. You said, okay, look, I supported DOMA, I still support DOMA, but I'm going to try to move forward and try to work with LGBT rights groups to try to get people elected. But I know where I stand. That would be perfectly fine. Some people would be upset, but people would respect you more if you went about it like that than try to pretend and pander to these groups and say, oh, well, it's evolution, evolution, my policies evolved. But you don't believe it. And now we have proof in email saying you don't believe it. And your staff and members in your campaign are trying to cover up what you're saying so you don't get any backlash from LGBT people. It's crazy. And more in the email, it says, I originally flagged HRC's Maddow remarks as potentially problematic in part because her wording closely linked her to two unfavorable policies of the past, even as no one in the community was asking her to own them. Given that, my recommendation would be to make this statement about just her evolution, and her record, and not bring in WJC. which is William Jefferson Clinton, which is Bill Clinton. That's his full name. Relatedly, if we release a statement tonight, it will very clearly be in response to the Maddow interview. To the extent we can, I advocate for owning that so that we can clean this up completely, rightly position her as a champion of LGBT issues, and make sure we move on from any discussion of the looming amendments or her being involved in passing either that or DOMA. So it's just another example of Hillary Clinton flip-flopping. She doesn't believe in what she says, and she just goes wherever the political winds take her. It's very sad to watch this. So there's another particular email that is extremely damaging, and it just proves what we knew all along, was that the Hillary Clinton campaign, the Obama administration, and the Department of Justice seem to be in collusion together. Now, in this particular email, it says, it's just re as in the subject, there's no header for it. It says, a reminder that the DOJ will be making its latest filing in the case later today, proposing a revised schedule for producing the emails, this time on a rolling basis in accordance with the judge's offer. DOJ folks inform me, so people at the Department of Justice were talking to people in the Clinton campaign currently around this time back in 2015, because this email was sent on May 19th of 2015. Hillary Clinton was currently under investigation because of her use of an illegal server. So it says, there is a status hearing in the case this morning, so we could have a window into the judge's thinking about this proposed production schedule as quickly as today. So this email right here just shows collusion, and I think it's completely ridiculous how the FBI said she did everything wrong, but because there was no intent, she was not charged. I mean, it basically shows that the Department of Justice was working with the Clinton campaign. This is what this email is showing. People in the Department of Justice is contacting members of the Hillary Clinton campaign. Someone needs to be fired. There needs to be some sort of repercussion for these actions, because this is completely unacceptable. So there was another particular email that showed media collusion again between Brent Budowskey from The Hill newspaper and John Podesta. Now, he goes on to say, good thing I don't have a column on Sunday, because if I did, I would blast the living crap out of Obama for what he said about liberals at Nike and where he said it and why he did it. And you can quote me. Maybe I will calm down by my next column deadline. Then again, I will not. 6 years of this has so depressed the Democratic base. The part of Obama's legacy will be the destruction of the Democratic base and the 2 midterm elections that led to the destruction of the Democratic House and the Democratic Senate and the creation of a Republican Senate and a Republican House. He said, for Obama to be insulting Harry Reid and Elizabeth Warren right now on trade is the most politically stupid and maladroit move in my memory from any Democratic president. For Obama to be insulting labor unions and progressives right now on trade is not only politically stupid for his own position, but it hurts Hillary Clinton by inflaming the very Democrats who have doubts about her that liberals such as myself are trying to remedy, even though I, unlike many who travel in your circles, have no desire to get another high-level job in government and no desire to become a lobbyist for banks or consultant or consult to British conservatives or get paid speeches to oil companies. So he's saying that he's using his position to try to sway people into trying to give Hillary Clinton the progressive credits that she doesn't have, or the liberal credits that she doesn't have. On many terms that she said she is a moderate and she is a centrist. Now, again, that would not be a problem if you are a moderate, if you are a centrist, if you call yourself a liberal, if you call yourself a progressive. If you actually believe the policies that you are saying that you do instead of just going whatever way the political winds take you. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like she just goes where it is politically expedient for her to. And the people around her know this and are trying to remedy this. He goes on to say, for Obama to say this at Nike, of all places, demonstrates his cultural and psychological ignorance of how a majority of Democratic voters and activists view trade policy and trade politics. Eric, you're a good guy, and because you handle the press, I am alerting you to the fact that I might well be writing it publicly soon because I am fed up to the gills, rather, with the attitudes Obama's comments convey and crony capitalist mentality that so permeates a Democratic establishment and did so much damage to what was once the Democratic Congress. So he knows that majority of the people in the Democratic Party who is in the Congress right now are crony capitalists, that these people are basically corporatists and they're trying to push and toe the line of what the big banks and what the people on Wall Street wants. He goes on to say, I'm no protectionist, but I'll be damned if I'll keep working to help Democrats who insult me like this. And what Barack Obama has still not learned in that these insults of Democrats are the greatest single reason his presidency has been lobotomized, because he now sits across the table with Speaker Boehner and Majority Leader McConnell. Today I write privately, tomorrow I make no promises. Now, to me, I think this is completely disgraceful. As a journalist, it is your job to report objectively, not subjectively. Your job is to put the facts and state the facts out there, regardless of whether it makes the Democratic Party look good or look bad. Same thing on the right. And I think this is why our media is in such a partisan disarray, because you have people openly trying to toe the Democratic Party line and push that in our media, and that's not what it's about. It's supposed to be country over political parties. The country matters more than whatever your political ideologies are. You're supposed to report on the facts like it is, regardless of whether it makes any particular party look good or bad. And I think for you to have a journalist who's working for our newspaper openly saying, well, I'm not going to be helping you guys and I'm not going to be pushing Democratic Party ideals and toe their line if you're going to insult me. That's completely disgraceful, and he should be ashamed of himself, Brent Budowskey. So there was another particular email that was found, which basically already confirmed what we all knew, was that the DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, was working with the Hillary Clinton campaign to limit the amount of debates so people could not see Bernie Sanders and could not hear his message, and why the debates was held at weird times, given the fact that in 2008 when Barack Obama was running against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic primary, back then there was a large number of debates that they had. Now, in this particular email, it says, through discussions of these goals with the DNC, their current plan is to begin a debate schedule that would commence in early October, with one debate a month, one each in the early primary and caucus states, and the remaining two post-South Carolina. We will need to push them to post-March 1st, and then the later two debates will be canceled if the race ends. The DNC's current plan is to release the attached press release, which lacks specificity, but confirms the number and start window for the debates. It goes on to say that beginning in February 2015, the DNC, through its communications operations, began discussions with representatives of potential Democratic candidates, the establishment of sanctioned debate schedules. It says, through internal discussions, we concluded that it was in our best interest to, 1, limit the number of debates and the number of each states, 2, start debates as late as possible, 3, keep debates out of the busy window between February 1st and February 27th, 2016, Iowa and South Carolina. 4, create a schedule that will allow the later debates to be canceled if the race is for practical purposes over. 5. Encourage an emphasis on local issues and local media participants in the debate formats. And 6. Ensure a format that provides equal time for all candidates and does not give the moderator any discretion to focus on one candidate. But we already know 6 was not followed because the debates was heavily biased against Bernie Sanders, and it was basically in favor of Hillary Clinton. Now, this is just extremely disgraceful all around. The DNC was supposed to remain a neutral party, but as we know in the DNC Wikileaks, it was basically trying to tip the scale to Hillary Clinton to try to get her elected, which eventually it did. So this is just more proof of what we already know, that the Democratic primary was a sham perpetrated on the American people, and it's just extremely sad that this turned out this way. There's another particular email that had to do with Joe Biden. Now, initially it was thought that Joe Biden would make a run for the presidency, again, because he has run before, and many people thought in the Democratic Party that it would divide the party if Joe Biden decided to run against Hillary Clinton, because he is a longtime Democrat. He does have support from both sides, and people actually like Joe Biden as opposed to Hillary Clinton. Now, in this particular email, it says, "Thanks for inviting me into the campaign and for sticking with me during the Biden anxiety," because no one knew if Joe Biden would run or not before he formally came out in that press conference saying that he would not make a run for the presidency. It says, "You are a great friend and a great leader. It's been a little hard for me to play such a role in the Biden demise, and I am definitely dead to them. But I'm glad to be on Team HRC and glad that she's had such a great debate tonight. Thanks, John." So you had people working basically in Joe Biden's camp trying to take him down and get Hillary Clinton elected. So there is no end to how far people in the Clinton campaign who are working for Hillary Clinton will help her try to win the presidency, even if that means taking people down within their own party. We've seen them do it to Bernie Sanders, and now we've seen them do it to Joe Biden, who would have been her strongest challenger if he decided to run. So I put nothing past these people. It's just extremely shocking seeing all of this play out and seeing all of the leaks that are coming out. There was another email that was found in the Podesta email leaks that said in the subject, "Needy Latinos and one easy call." Now, Hillary Clinton's campaign laminated that they needed endorsements from so-called needy Latinos, and he called former Hispanic governor a dick, according to the new emails. Now, he basically said, "I heard that you were upset, and I encouraged a call between WJC and Richardson to bury the hatchet. I did that at the request of Jose Villarreal, who promised me and made the point that Richardson is still on TV a lot, especially on Univision and Telemundo, and notwithstanding the fact that he can be a dick. It's worth getting him in a good place. He had a good conversation with the president and has been good in his interviews since. I have pressed Bill, but I think it will take a call from you to get a formal endorsement. He's on Meet the Press on Sunday, probably worth a quick call to ask him to stay tout and publicly endorse, but if it's too galling, don't bother." So this is how the Clinton campaign feels about Latinos. Do not be fooled if they give sweet words to the dreamers and say that we're going to do comprehensive immigration reform. Same thing they say to the African American community, that they want to help you. They do not want to help you. They just want our votes. They just want minority votes, and people need to be wise as to what's going on. It's the same crap when they were calling Hispanics and Latinos taco bowls. So we see it, how they speak in headlines, and we just need to be wiser about who we vote for and truly get informed about the people who try to win our votes. So there is so much that keeps happening with this Podesta emails. There are more that is being leaked every single day, and I can't even wrap my head around it. It's just so much stuff that's happening all at once, and I will definitely try to keep you guys informed. I am the Millennial Revolt. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.